So I'm a couple minutes late, but here we are. And sorry about that. So while you're jumping on, I'll just tell you, I will give you specific steps now at the beginning of how you can identify where you are in your business, what you need to work on, to tweak, to change, to actually make more sales. Okay, so I'll give you the 3 steps to analyze where you are. You can be in either of these 3, but you are for sure in one of those. Okay, your business, I mean. And then once we go over that, I'll give you ideas. I wrote some bullet points here. I'll give you ideas of how I use the 3 steps with my acquisition assets that I create, attract, influence, and convert to sign paid clients. And I explained I've signed over 500 paid clients using these 3 steps and using acquisition assets. Like every single paid client I got came through the acquisition asset I created. So those assets work while I'm offline, while I'm with my daughter at the beach, or I'm not saying it's passive or anything like that. I would never say that. I see people, saying that. By the way, if you're live, just drop #live. You know the drill. It helps with the algorithm. I'd like to see your names. I see Gemma is here. I see some names popping up. So I'll give you first, like I said, 3 steps so you can know where you are. Let me just see. Maybe I should turn around the camera. I think it's gonna look nicer. By the way, am I streaming? I'm streaming on my profile. Let me switch to my... No, I'm in the group. Okay, cool. Let me turn around the camera. How come I don't see it in the group? Just a second, let me see. Strange. Yeah, I don't see the live. Oh, there you go. Okay. Let me switch. The back camera is much nicer, obviously. So, I'll give you the 3 steps first, and that is if we go using my system, that seems like it works, right? Attract, influence, convert, right? So if you're not getting enough sales, you're missing one of these 300%. But you also, it's not just that you're missing, you want to know where you are, what to tweak, right? You might be closer to making more sales than you think. So either you cannot attract the right people to see your offer, meaning you are growing the following, your following is growing, could be on Facebook here, could be some other social media you use, right? But it's not translating to leads. You're not getting really qualified leads. They're a good fit for your offer. So that's one, right? Could be that you don't get enough engagement from your ideal clients. I'm sure you can see some people in your audience that seem like a good fit. You can tell this is my ideal client. Okay, they need my offer. They would benefit from it. They should buy it. They should invest in it, in themselves, in this offer, and so on. But they're not really engaging, like at all, right? So that's telling you they're scrolling past your content, right? Now you might get also engagement for some people, and likes and comments and supporting comments, like great post, great offer, keep it up, whatever, those type of, but they never buy from you, right? So all that's basically telling us that the messaging is not resonating with the people who need your offer the most, right? If you know who they are and so on. So that'd be one. Also, it might be that if you're not getting any or very low engagement from your ideal customer avatar, right? It can also be because social media is so crowded right now that you are almost invisible to your clients, ideal clients. They're just not seeing you. They're not seeing your content, right? People who are seeing are not ideal clients, so that's a problem. So all of this is stage 1, attract. To attract buyers, buyer leads, not just anybody, right? Ideal clients, but who are buyers. Could be that your content itself, it's not triggering your DMs and content enough curiosity, right, or interest from those potential buyers. So if that is not working, also could be that they're just not interested in finding out more, right? It's very important that our content triggers curiosity, triggers interest, and gets people to follow, to want to know more, not just click follow, obviously, but I mean, scan your content, your group, or whatever you are using right now. So you don't get those right ideal clients reaching out to you. If you're posting consistently, you're showing up. If that's the case, I hope you are. So I would say this is only valid for people who are showing up, who are consistent, and who have certain following. Let's say, I usually say around 1,000 followers. That's a good cutoff, number. If you have 1,000, I think it's more than enough. I went full-time online with my business as an affiliate, promoting other people's offers, coaching, masterminds, programs, courses, with 800 friends on Facebook. It wasn't even followers at that time, it was just friends. So I would say 1,000, you have enough buyers in your audience for sure. Maybe it's not a huge number, but you have enough to close consistent sales. If they don't, so if those right people, ideal clients, are not reaching out to you, right? Even though you can help them, your offer can help them, okay, that's a sign. So that's first step, the content, DMs, whatever you're mostly using, or both, ideally, is that part needs to be, we need to change, work on. If you're attracting, obviously, just some freebie seekers, etc., that goes for itself, it's obvious. And also could be that your content, if you get a lot of likes, engagement, your following is growing, they are your ideal clients, but they are not interested in moving forward, finding out about your offers, etc., and so on. They don't reach out to you. Could be that your content and your DMs don't build enough trust or credibility. That's a big one, right? We buy from people that we find credible and that we trust, right? So that could be a situation as well. So let me just quickly take a look in the comment section, because I don't track it here, so let me see on the computer. Live. Hey Gemma. Hey John. Hey Maxine. Good to see you guys. Okay, so that's step one. So if you experience any of those, I'll explain what I do about it. So I'll give you solutions, but that's step one. Step two could be that you don't know how to show them, right, that your thing is what they need. This is very common. This may be most common situation. So that could be that they're price shopping, like they're immediately asking for price. They're just curious, like how much is it or whatever, what's the investment, what you sell, what you promote, what's your offer. Could be that whenever you have a freebie, they want it. Or if you put the content out there, a lead gen post, and you don't specify that there's an investment, they raise their hand, but they don't move forward past that. They raise their hand on the post, then they ghost you, leave you on scene, or just tell you they're not interested, they don't consume the thing, whatever. It could be that they're not seeing the connection between their problems and your paid solution, right? So they don't see how your paid solution, giving them money, would actually help. And then also that the messaging isn't creating enough desire for your paid offers. So like content, messaging, and so on. You're getting leads, right? So now we are at stage 2, influence, what I do. So I'm attracting people, right? Everything looks good on the outside, but I'm not making sales. And it's not just I'm not closing sales, right? But they're not moving forward, right? So that could be that, like I said, messaging not creating enough value for your paid offers, creating enough value for free stuff, or what they think is free, but not enough for paid. Could be that they don't recognize your solution, obviously, that your offers aren't clearly communicating the value. That's a big one, right? Where they see the value, so they exchange their money for that offer, right? Or value they're gonna receive. So that's articulating the solution, that it's actually worth the dollar, whatever it is, to solve their problem, okay? Given that you're solving a serious problem, most offers are. So hopefully yours is too. So the big one is also transformation, that you're not maybe effectively demonstrating the transformation they're going to experience once they get the offer, but more like features, benefits, stuff like that. That's one that's a bit easier to tweak and change, obviously, especially with some help. And so those are some when it comes to influence, step 2. So now I'm having leads, but how do I get them to move forward? How do I get them to actually, want to consume my stuff, want to see my offers? They're not just price shopping. They're not dropping off as soon as I get into, what I have, what I promote, and so on. So yeah, thanks for smashing those likes. And if you're on the live, by the way, just drop hashtag live. So that would be step 2. So we covered the attract leads. What's the problem there? If you can identify, you feel like you're there. Like I said, I'll get into that. What's the solution? Then second step, influencing them to move forward. So, and then what you might be experiencing there. And then the third one is convert, the good old convert, make a sale, close a deal. So there, what usually happens is like I'll think about it. I'll get back to you later, Could be that you get people who just say it's too expensive, but then they're not your buyers, ideal, right? Could be that your follow-up process is not re-engaging people, because most sales will happen with the follow-up. And I mean, could be combination, could be one channels you use, could be email follow-up, could be DM follow-up, could be, different ways. But a lot of sales you would make from follow-up, that's for sure, if you have effective process. So if it's not re-engaging them, they're not getting back to you, they're not responsive, they're not really engaged in the conversation, whichever channel you use, that's then a sign, right, that, okay, this is a problem. Like the way I present the offer or the offer itself, but we're stage 3. I'm getting leads, I'm getting them to move forward, to get serious about it, to want to know about my offer, and so on, right? So it could be that you are getting objections before they see offer. So everything worked up until that point, and now when you're supposed to present the offer or send them, like let's say a Google Doc or a landing page or whatever, how you present your offer, that they have objections. Oh, I'm already focusing, I have this thing, I have a mentor, I have a program, I'm already using this or that, I'm moving house, I'm on a vacation, whatever it is, right? But if they tell you that before the offer, so those are not really objections. I'm saying if you're getting objections, it sounds like it, right? In most cases, that's just a smoke screen, whatever you want to call it. But basically, it has nothing to do necessarily with the offer, right? They haven't seen it yet. So the messaging, as I mentioned, the previous step, influencing them to move forward, the messaging, content, DMs, like there's a disconnect there. It's not aligned. It's not really moving your ideal client who's a buyer forward. If it's not making them take immediate action, if you're getting people saying they will buy, but like in a month, or they'll get back to you later once they finish something or do something else, or I'm right now in the middle of this challenge, once I do that, or when I finish moving, whatever it is, if it's time, like they're not taking immediate action, they don't see the reason to act now. That's a big one. Like they just don't see why it would be beneficial for them to act now. And that's really, that's a huge one. So obviously we need to then address the potential objections even before we get to that. So that's the pre-selling part. And we do that with the track first step and influence the second step. We want to pre-sell them as much as possible, sell them completely. So now we're just closing. It's just how do we figure it out? How do we start working together? Not trying to now figure out, should they do it once they move and then afterwards, or when they come from a vacation, or they're ready, or they have another program, or all those, like I said, smoke screen, right? So if your sales process, once you are closing the deal, feels inauthentic or pushy, like you needy, maybe that's the best way to say, because, okay, you want a sale, they are your ideal client hopefully, if you really want to sell that bad, and you're sending them stuff and following up and really kind of like being, on top, but in an ineffective way, because they're not responsive, they're ghosting you, they're leaving you on scene, stuff like that, or not getting back to you on your content or on your lead gen post, etc., or through whatever you have given them to consume. So you basically, if you look at it, this third stage, you're basically losing those ideal clients at the final stage, right? Just before you present the offer, or when they see the offer, right? So those are some really big ones. Let me know if it makes sense. Thanks for dropping live, and good to see you guys, and thanks for smashing those hearts. So let me know if you have any questions about that. I'll get into now how I solve it and what are the 3 steps that I use. But I would like to hear if any of that makes sense, if it resonates. Have you ever experienced any of those things? Like, let me know. It's good to have feedback so I know we are on the same page and we can continue. So let me just see the comments here. Yeah, it makes sense. Awesome, Gemma. Glad to hear that. Let me see, anyone else? So those 3 are really big. And based on those 3, you can identify what you need to work on now. You don't want to work on everything, right? It's quite a big process taking a stranger to a paid customer, right? It's really huge. A lot of times we don't really, I would say, even realize how big that is. I mean, at least maybe I forgot. Sometimes I need to remind myself, because I take for granted today what I do. Well, only like 3 years ago, let's say, I had 0 experience in selling anything and 0 experience in doing anything online, marketing anything, like writing content, literally anything. And at that time, if you asked me, I think I would have said, like, I would, give you my kidney to know how to do that, because it just sounds awesome, right? So it's quite a thing. And so you want to break it: attract, influence, convert. So where you are in those 3. So let me see now if I can find, I wrote down on another page, just so I stay on track, just a moment, how you can solve this, obviously. Yeah. So I'll give you, let's say I give you like this, maybe this is more practical. I'll give it to you as a checklist. I'm with you. I get lots of I might buy later. Well, that's awesome. That's the best place to be at, Gemma. That's amazing, because that means you're growing following. I assume you can let me know in the comments if that's right. You're growing your following, you're getting interest, you're getting likes, comments, all that stuff, engagement. So you're having some quality conversations, maybe not a lot, but at least some for sure, right? And then you get to present the offer, whichever way you do it. And so this last stage is that's a sweet spot to be there and to work on that, to tweak the closing part, right? Or if they tell you that even before they really see the offer, then the step before, right? The pre-selling part, influencing them to move forward and so on. Let me know if that's correct. So let me give you like this as a checklist. What you want to do is, so let's say step 1, attract. Let's do it like this. Number 1, you want to identify the problem, big enough problem your audience has that you could solve. So that's step 1. Or even better, make a list of 3 to 5 problems. So if you're writing this down, I would suggest you write 3 to 5 problems, okay? This way you will clearly define once you start creating acquisition assets, what your acquisition assets will solve, how it's going to help your audience, how it will serve them, right? And you can do this in many different ways. You can go to the places where your ideal customer is, like we're on Facebook, so let's say the Facebook groups or Facebook pages owned by some leaders, gurus that influence a lot of people, where your ideal customer is as well. You can go there and you can consume the content, you can do the research, you can see what people are mostly talking about, what questions they're asking, what problems they're having, and so on. So that's step one. So it's very easy to skip those. I would say that's awesome, Gemma. Yes, growing, lots of engagement, group requests. That's awesome. That's great. So that'd be step one. And I would say you don't want to skip this one. Everything stems from there. That way you really understand them. You can really, serve them with your asset that will also work for you. It's a win-win situation. It will sell them, right? You'll get less objections. They will take less time. There will be less ghosting and all that stuff. So that's number one. Number two, you can validate the idea. Like even if you're doing some simple lead gen, you can validate if it works. What most people do is they put one post and they maybe don't get much interest, or 2-3 posts or whatever, and they give up on it. Or they think it doesn't work. Where that's good, that's great. You figured out what doesn't work. You're really validating the idea, doing the research and validating, right? So you want to put it out there for people to see, but in an intentional way. You want to craft like a little campaign, right? So where you first address the problem. The easiest way to approach this is that depending, are they problem aware or solution aware? But let's say in general, if you talk about the tease first about the thing and then talk about the problems that they're experiencing, this is like Inception, the movie Inception. You want to, ideally, you've been in that place where they are right now. They're 2-3 steps behind you, that. So in their customer journey. So the way you're going to talk about the problems is through specific like stories, situations, scenarios you've been through that they're going through right now. So that's why I say it's like Inception content, right? It's like they feel like you're in their shoes. I cannot believe it sounds like you're talking about me. I got so many messages where people tell me, was this about me? And they send me my post, right? It's so aligned with their journey that they think I literally wrote specifically about them. So that'd be then to validate the idea, right? So problem, and then to share your epiphany, and then to explain the solution. So that's one easy way to craft it. And then you can test the messaging and see how many leads you get, how many of your, not just leads, but buyer leads, how many of your ideal clients actually raise their hand. Then when they do, how many of them respond and want to consume the thing, right? So you build a hype and excitement, and you get them involved even before you give them anything, right? Before you get in any serious conversation. You also want to have a unique mechanism. Why is it different what you do than anything else out there? Like, how is it different? So maybe you have that in your offer. If you promote as an affiliate, we have lots of affiliates here in the group, but it's very important that it's unique, right? So that it triggers curiosity, as I said before. So they'll want to consume the thing once you give them. The thing might be training, might be a webinar, might be whatever it is, right? I don't know what you use or what you're going to create, if you're going to create one, right? As an affiliate, even because I see we have some on the live, so some names, you can still, even as an affiliate, create your own acquisition assets and promote different affiliate offers. Like I did that. I would use one asset to attract those people, to hook in buyers from my audience, then to pre-sell them, influence them to move forward, want to consume the thing, right? Want to consume more of my stuff, and then present the offer once I've prevented all the objections and they're more or less sold on it. So it's like it's like a dance. We're figuring out together how to start working. And then basically that third stage, I will present different offers. I sold 10 different high ticket offers in less than first 9 months on Facebook. And I started from scratch, from zero. In first month and a half took me to make first sale. So imagine the rest of that 6 months or whatever, I sold 10 different high ticket offers, multiple of each. So been like top affiliate in almost every single one of those, or top 3. Not top 1, but top 3. Many people were there long before me, right? So how did that work? well, I would do this great job with these acquisition assets. Then it would be easier for me. It's what I call a doctor frame. So once we get, it doesn't matter what you think now, what you want to ask me, what do I promote, what's the price, none of that matters because I don't know where you are. Once I attracted them and sold them enough, I can then, based on where they are, what I find out, I can recommend what offer would be the best for them, right? And they will want to tell you, if the acquisition asset does a good job, they will want to tell you a lot of stuff about where they are and so on, because that's what we want. You want to tell that to your doctor when you go there. Something happened with your leg, you tell, I felt this here, and then the other day this happened. And why? Because you trust them, they're credible, and you want them to help you. So you're helping them help you. That's ideally what you want to achieve. Hey guys, I see more people hopping on. So that we attract, okay? Once we have that, you want to have a very specific process, how you're going to send them, right? Like, how they're going to get the thing. Do they need to reach out to you? Do they need to comment? Do this, do that? What they're going to get, they have to know that even before you get into any kind of conversation. And then what's the format, how they're going to consume the thing and where it leads, right? So you want to have that all set up so you have one process, because if you are sometimes saying this and showing them this offer, if you are sometimes saying that, if you're sometimes replying like this, if you sometimes do a call, if you sometimes send a Google Doc, if you sometimes send a webinar, sometimes sales page. I see this a lot of times when I review conversations of my clients. It's like 30 different processes, like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Maybe they think this one didn't work, let's try this one. I don't know what's the case, why. Let me know if you do multiple options or you have one process with each person. This is what I post, this is when they reply, or what I say, this is what I ask them, this is how I move them forward. Could be audio message, could be video DM, could be a call. And then what do I present? Like, do I send a Google Doc? Do I send a landing page, a webinar? Or what's the case? It's very important you have one sales process. So you can focus on one. It's easier to tweak. It's easier to figure out what do I need to improve when you have one. Okay? So that would be next one. And once you have the process set up, right? Then the last one obviously is how to convert. So like I said, you're going to present the offer once they're really pre-sold on it, not before. And the way you're going to know, before you present an offer, I would say, here's another simple short checklist. You want them to have two things to happen. One is that they tell you what problem they have. Okay? Before you ever present any offer, you want these two covered, okay? So one is they told you the problem they have, okay? Because if they say it, they will own it. If you say it, they will doubt it. So whenever you say something, making statements, telling them and so on, you're gonna have a lot of trouble closing deals, because they can always back up. They can always go back and say, I didn't say that. I didn't say I have this or whatever. And first of all, they will doubt it. Simple as that. But if they say it, they will own it, and you also have proof. They said it, let's say in Messenger or in a comment or whatever, and you can go back and point that. Hey, I remember you said XYZ about, So that's one. They have to tell you what's the problem. No, it's not necessarily when the first problem they tell you is usually a symptom, because if they knew what's the problem, they would already solve it. They would be working on it. So usually people tell you the symptom. And so then, let's say someone just told me they get a ton of views on TikTok and they get some funnel hits, like people click the link in the bio, but almost no one puts their email there. They don't even opt for a free thing, not to mention to buy something, right? But they're getting a ton of views and followers and stuff and whatever. And the case is they're posting all kinds of content just to go viral and reposting other people's content to go viral and stuff. It doesn't speak to their ideal client. I mean, for the offer they promote, right? They're just going viral. So they think the problem is like landing page. They're not sure why, maybe to change the colors or the copy or this or whatever. But the real problem is actually you're getting all kinds of random vague people, following you, clicking on your stuff. They're not your ideal customers, so they don't resonate with that. They just follow the viral trendy content you post or whatever. And so when that happens, you can do what I call a reframe. You can educate them on the real problem, right? Which is in this case, total misalignment between the offer and the audience. They're attracting people who are not ideal client for that offer, right? So you educate them on the problem. Once you do that, now there's a new solution, right? And if your offer is that, you have the new solution. Now you position yourself in a great place to close that deal. So back to the two things. One is they tell you what's the problem. And second is they believe you can help them. But they have to tell you that. And they don't have to 100% be sure, yeah, you will help them. You will get me results, your offer or whatever. But they have to have at least slight belief. We can build up on that. So do not present offer ever before these two are covered, okay? Let me know if that makes sense. Makes even more sense. Make it more irresistible much sooner. In my case anyway. Absolutely, Gemma. Very good point. Hey, what's up, guys? So, yeah. So you want those two covered. And then, once you present the offer, obviously, you want to have follow-up process in place. Like, what are the exact steps? What do you do? If you do it in DMs, what messages do you send? You have to know what you're going to do and what you send and follow a process that works. You don't want to be winging it with every single prospect, figuring out, should I send a message now or no? They didn't respond. They didn't open it yet, or they didn't that happens. That happens to everybody, but you need to know what you're going to say, right? You need to know up to 6-7 messages at least what you're going to say. To keep following up, And or also, if you have email follow-up in place, that's also cool and great. There's also, obviously, with content where you can, as you're promoting the thing, you can keep reinforcing with messaging in content what they're missing and so on. And obviously, if there's limited, let's say, spots, or people are joining something, or there's a wait list, or whatever the case is, where you can be announcing how many spots gone and stuff, that can heavily help. So that'd be the step 3 to convert them, right? So let me know if that makes sense. Makes sense. Awesome. And if you have any questions while we're still here. So this is just the introduction. As I announced, I will be doing full-blown trainings on this. I just wanted to cover the whole process, where you might be. If you didn't watch at the beginning, check the beginning. I shared the 3 phases where your business might be and how to identify where you are, what to work on. Like some people did while we were on the live. That's awesome. And yeah, while we're still, if you have any questions, if not, if you feel like you could benefit from some help with this, I have a community where we can give you a hand, and you can just drop me and I'll send you the details. You can check it out, where you get help with each step, this process, and how to create your own acquisition asset that works even while you're offline, and attracts those buyers from your existing following, not getting more views and followers, which is cool, great if you do, but you want to monetize the that you have. And then the next step, how to influence them to move forward and pre-sell them really on it. So once you get into the 3rd stage, where you are closing the deal, they're not throwing you all kinds of smoke screens and stuff and disappearing and ghosting you and stuff. So drop #me and I'll send you the details. Good to have you all, guys. Nice to see you on this Saturday afternoon, and glad it makes sense. And see you on the next one. Have a great day, everybody. Let me just go back to my front camera. See you, folks. Thanks for the comment and engagement, and let me know if you have more questions.